Hey gang, Ryan here, and in this video we are going to take a look at how to edit graphics, especially when you come across them on, a WordPress blog you have or a normal website. So, without further ado, let me show you a real-world example that I came across today, and that is at my WordPress back office. And if I go to the themes, you see this banner right here, this blue banner? We wanted to change the theme, so because you can see there's only one picture on here, so I wanted to put two pictures. So the only way to do that is with a custom header, right? Great situation where you want to do custom graphics. And I kind of like this background. It has some waves you can see, and it's got some blue in there, but there's some text and there's a line. So let's see how I kind of got around that. And you can see the end result right here. So you can see, we took our team take massive action logo, I put it in there, the line's still in there, I took the text out, put our pictures with the border. I took this border and got it on there and put our text on there based on Sam's suggestion. So I think it turned out pretty good for about 15 minutes of work. And the program I use is actually a free program called Pixlr. Pixlr.com. Then you open the Pixlr editor and open image from your computer. So let's say, obviously, for actually this website where I gotta cancel this, where this banner right here, I wanted to take a screenshot of that and edit it. So to do something random, I'm going to get a random phrase generator, and I'm going to generate a random phrase. And then I'm going to get a picture, and I'm going to show you how you can edit something on the fly to show you just, off the wall, how you can find anything and just roll with it. So the concepts are going to apply differently to each image, depending on what you want to do. But education, regulate the market, thunder, I don't really like any of these. Why not it? I'm just going to use that phrase and go to Google Images. So say, you're doing an image search for something and you find an image you like. What's a good one here? Trying to find one that would be good for potentially a website that you'd want to change. So here's a pretty good one. So say you had some products maybe, or you wanted to post about some wines or a certain, maker of wine. I'm going to save this image by right-clicking on it. And sometimes you can't right-click, so I'll show you another alternative, Riesling wines. Maybe that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. So you can see that it's saved, but sometimes it's just on a website and you can't right-click it. So I actually got this program called Jing by TechSmith. So you just Google TechSmith Jing, you can download it, it's free. Then you open it, puts this little sun, you can drag it around if you want, and go to the crosshairs, and you can just snap your image real quick. So I left-click, hold, drag, let go, left-click on capture an image, save, wines to save, and boom, you got that. So now I can go into Pixlr, open an image, and I can open either of those images that I got. Obviously, it just depends which way you did it. So I'm going to open the first one I did because saving it is better than clipping a screenshot because it depends on your accuracy, right? Alrighty. So now let's say, okay, this is great, but I want to change the background. For example, you could do the magic wand tool. You could just click, and do you see how it selected everything that's white? Now let's say you wanted to make it black. I can click black, or red. Let's see. Let's do let's try black. That's gonna look kind of weird, but and then we can do the flood fill tool, which is I'm used to using Photoshop, so that's the bucket. A lot of people know the fill tool, and boom, we got black. So if I get the selection tool and click away, you can see not the greatest. You could do some work on it, but now it's pretty much black, right? So let's if you want to change the bottom, you can see how well. If you change the tolerance, it'll see how it's not selecting all of it. And if I raise the tolerance up to like 59, you see how it's selected a little bit better. So now I'd move it a little bit down, and then eventually I'd just have the table portion selected. So let's do, yeah, that looks good. So getting close, 46. I like doing around 30, do 31, give that a shot. There you go. So I mean, you would need a little bit more, so you could see how you have to play with stuff and just, you keep clicking until stuff's right. If you mess something up, there's history right here. You could go back and say you wanted to use one, 3 steps ago. You just go up 3 steps, 2 steps, and say, okay, let's say I want to use that one, and I want to make that black too. Or say you want to take one of the bottles out, you can use the magic wand. You can see you use the magic wand a lot, and you have to play with the tolerances, or maybe you just wanted to change the label color and make the label color black. Okay. So you can see, you can do some cool stuff and just play around. And if you mess up, you got, you can scroll through this and get all the way to the beginning. So look, we just reset the image. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about layers. I'm going to create a new layer here. You see one appeared. Another new layer will automatically appear if you paste an image in. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So let's make what I just thought of off the top of my head. Let's maybe throw some products. This is another image I got. So if I do, now this is a completely separate file, okay? So I'm going to get it into this wine bottle file. I'm going to do edit, select all, and you can see there's marching ants around. Edit, copy. Now I'm going to do edit, paste. Notice I selected this one. Edit, paste, and see it's huge. And see how there's 3 layers now? The one I created, the original image I opened, and now the thing I just pasted in. You gotta select the one you want to do an action on, so I selected the image I just pasted. Edit, transform, free transform. You'll see the little handles appear. If you hold down the shift key while clicking and dragging on one of the diagonal handles, the proportion ratio will stay the same. Okay. So, that looks relatively lifelike, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and click away, and it'll say, do you want to apply? Click yes. Now I'm going to use the magic wand tool again and go to town. I'm going to try and take some of this white background out. Ooh, tolerance is way too high. Need to play with the 13 looks good. So watch what happens when I delete stuff. See how the bottle starts to poke through? That's because that's the layer underneath. If I left click and hold and go, so actually let's do this. I could show you with this. I'm on, you want some text real quick. Hello, now it's black. You can change the color, red. You can change the font size. Click OK. You can also type numbers in there. You can click back over it again if you have the text tool selected, and you can do text again. If you have, this tool selected, which is the move tool, you can move it around. If you want to edit the text again or change the color, you click in there with the text tool selected. You could type a number like 200, and it makes its maximum size that it allows you. So what I'm going to do is drag it like this, but watch the layers. If I drag it underneath layer 2, you see how the line was underneath layer 2? See the line that moves? And I let go. Hello is sandwiched in between these 2 layers, because if I make this bigger, you can see the order, right? This is on the top, this is the second layer, then underneath that, underneath that. If I move it back over, it goes back on top. Let's show you how to do some text effects real quick. Layer styles. I right-clicked, by the way, on the layer and left-click layer styles. You can do things like drop shadow. If you check it, it applies it. If you left-click and select on the text, then you can do things like opacity. See how that changes the effect. You can make it kind of pop off a little bit more. You can make the size bigger, make it like dissolve. And you can change the angle the light's coming from and the color as well. Inner bevel, inner shadow, bevel, outer glow. And then once again, if you left click the text, you can change the color. And then you can change the size. You know, there's same thing for everything. There's a couple different parameters you play around with. You slide it and it's a live preview, so just play around, right? So you get it the way you like. And then inner glow. So, you know, that makes it pop off pretty good. So, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move this text just out of the way for a second. Now, let's say I want to work on that other layer again. Layer 2, which is this guy. You can tell what layer is what by doing a move when it's selected, or you can toggle visibility. If I save the image just like this, it would look just like this. So it's pretty cool. You can do layers and, you know, okay, say you want one without the text. Save it however you want. So I'm going to bring everything back, keep this layer selected, and I'm going to do a little bit more deleting. So you can see I'm taking that out. Just take some of this bar out. So if you know there's a square section you just don't want, I could just go like, oops. Doesn't matter if I'm selecting the other layers because it'll only work on this layer. But I selected everything, you'll see how it just got rid of that layer. And then what I can do is bring these down. And you can see how it's starting to, you know, pop off and actually look like the images are together almost. And, you know, I'd have to do a little bit more work. What I'd probably do, because this right guy got cut off, I'd just delete it. You know, why not? So you can see how it's looking a little bit better. Need to get rid of some white in here. Some white right there. Some white right there, maybe. Nah, that's okay. So you can see how I pretty much took this image, and if I actually did this, that's a lot more realistic because I'm using the corners. You know, you just move stuff around and play around. And there's one more I actually just saw. So I can get in there with the click. There we go. So you can see the color shines through and it just looks incredibly real. Just by deleting some of the background using this magic wand tool. It's really one of the best ones. And you can see, you know, here you go. Now you have a custom graphic pretty much. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Sometimes you want to get same color. You can use the color dropper tool. Say you want this red again, you can click, you got that red again. Or if you want this color bottle, you got that color, you can see the color popping up here. You can save presets. So say you want to save this green, and then you click in this square, you see how the green adds. So now I can go between all these colors really easily if you're using a couple custom colors for text and stuff like that. Now let's talk about saving, because this is very, very important. These layers here will only retain themselves if you save as a PXD format, similar to a PSD Photoshop file. PXD is specific to pixlr.com. Windows won't open it, Mac won't open it, only pixlr.com. So you always want to save two versions of your file. Your working file, so you can move the layers around, and a web-ready file that computers can read, right? Because PXDs, only this website can read. No other computer can read it unless you're going through the website, which is not going to work for web pages. For web pages, you need to save as a JPEG. That's the best thing. If you need transparency, so if I cleared out this white here, and I wanted the bottles to kind of look like they were in line with the background, because like for example, say my web page background was gray. This, let's just show you real quick actually before I save, just to demonstrate the difference between PNG and JPEG. I'm going to use the magic wand tool again. Where am I? Magic wand. There we go. Click. Oh, layer's not selected, right? I gotta select the background, which is the right layer. That's why nothing was getting selected. I clicked. Delete. I hit delete. So why aren't you deleting? Because we don't want to delete. We want it to... I think it's because it's the background. It won't delete it. So let's just say I did... here, I can show you. Pretend you can delete it if it's not the background. So what you'd do is you'd copy this layer into a new file, and it would be a layer instead of background, if that makes sense. Then I would have been able to delete it. So, for example, actually, you know what? I'm almost positive that wasn't clear. So I'm going to do an edit, select all. I'm going to do edit, copy, file, new, click OK. See how it had the clipboard in there? And I'm going to do edit, paste. So see how it's layer 1 and not background now? Now I can select and delete. Maybe you have to save it as a PNG. No, it should delete. So that should be cleared out. It's just the background will always show as white. So to demonstrate that, so actually it is even working for the background thing I just said actually is irrelevant. See, just by playing around, you figure stuff out. So I just made it black real quick. If I hit delete, you see how it's white again? I'm used to Photoshop. They have checkered backgrounds if you delete in this white area, like if it has no background and you hit delete on the color white, it'll be checkered to show you that there's nothing behind it, so it'll blend in. I'm going to delete this real quick. So the point is, it will work on the background, so forget that blabber for a second. If I hit delete, oops, let's do the lasso. If I get the stuff selected again, hit delete, it's transparent now. So what it will look like on a web page because it's transparent. Say your web page is gray like this. I'm going to use the dropper tool, and you can't use it on this gray, which is going to be really hard to do. So I'm going to try and match it as close as possible. Let's see. Let's try this real quick. But you can see how it would match in, and you can have it kind of, you'd obviously need to be a little lighter, but you can see how it matches, and you can, if you saved it as a PNG, then if you had this area deleted like I had, it would blend into the background like it is now, except it would be the same exact color. The color just bleeds through essentially like it's another layer. So if that's confusing, you know, don't even worry about it. It's not a big deal. Just save it as a JPEG, and don't even worry about it. Just have a white freaking square, alright? So I'm going to save it as a JPEG. I made it nice and ugly. Click OK. Save it onto your computer. Now, the second file, File Save, drop down, PXD, Layered PixLR Image, meaning it only opens with PixLR, retains the layers. If I open this JPEG file that I just saved previously, it will not have these layers if I open it. Watch, I'll show you. So I save as a PXD. I'm going to do File, I'm going to do Open. Here's the JPEG I saved. See the layers? None. Can't do anything. That wasn't the image I saved though. This was. Ooh, it doesn't have a file extension. That's weird. Let me just fix that real quick. So if you see there's no dot, it needs to be a dot JPG. Don't know why that got stripped off. Click Add. Ah, name's already taken. Dang it. 2.jpg. Alright, add real quick. 2.jpg. See this image? It's the image we made, right? But look, no layers. So that's why you need the PXD. If don't do all this work and forget to save a PXD, always save a PXD. Forget to save the JPEG. So PXD is always what you save first, even though I didn't do it. Do what I say, not what I do. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this quick video tutorial. I don't think there's anything else that I could think about that you need to do necessarily that I know. I'm not that good at this stuff, guys. You know, sometimes you want to do gradient backgrounds and stuff like that. Just play around. See, look at that. Ooh, pretty. Let's try it on this one real quick. Didn't want to do that. I did Control Z. Play with the layer styles, you know. Just play around. So you can tell I don't know what I'm really doing, but I made my graphics work on my blog, right? So just play around, and I used a transform here by saving the image. I put it right there. I had this exact image. Sam sent me an image. I actually copied this little frame and put it around his image, and then I did the text with the text effects, and then I just copied little areas of blue, pasted to cover up the text, so like little band-aids to cover up all the text. Alright, that's Ryan Ellis, and hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.